G'day guys and gal. What's this? Majorkill is making topical relevant content? No way. Who is this man and what have you done with our overly chromosomed Australian? Valid questions for sure. However, since I am extremely blacklisted from Total War and will likely never get early access to anything produced by Creative Assembly, I thought I may as well try and cash in on the hype. I would make an Eltharion video, but I already made one, and unlike most of my content, which is more than 6 months old, I actually don't mind that video, so yeah, that's the Eltharion video for you if you want to check it out. Grom the Paunch, that fat motherfucker. Gotta wait till 3-minute mark before I can drop those F-bombs if I want to get that green tick for once in my life, is a fun goblin with a lot of fun lore, which we'll dive into today. This video is going to be hard, fast, and paunch. Do you see what I did there? I should just kill myself. Today we'll dive into the lore and story of Grom, checking out his origins, his beef with Eltharion, and what his ultimate fate was. In the Total War game, it looks like he also gets new lore made for him by CA, which we'll also try and explore a bit as well. As I said, zero early access for me, so I don't know what all the new lore is for him in the game, but I know a little bit. And before you ask, no, there will not be Grom hentai on my Patreon. Nobody wants to see that schniz. Let's get into it. For someone of his massive size and girth, you would expect Grom to be an orc or troll, but in truth, no, he is a goblin. See, all greenskins shrink or grow depending on their ego. Grimgor, being the best, is huge, while most goblins get bullied non-stop, so it keeps them pretty small. Grom kinda hacked the system a little bit by eating part of a troll. Now, trolls are not considered a part of a balanced diet, even for an ADHD-filled sentient mushroom, hence any other goblin would have had internal hemorrhaging and died. But not our boy Grom! Grom ate so much anyway that he already had a gut of steel, hence the troll flesh made him grow to massive proportions and also gave him the ability to regenerate from wounds instead. You can tell how this would have fed his ego. He got so cocky that he eventually just started talking about himself in third person like he was some kind of god. And it worked! The goblins were frothing it, and his tribe exploded in size. Goblins are like Mortys. They complain a lot, and they're little bitches, but when united under the one true Morty, or evil Morty, they can kick ass. Grom was true/evil Morty in this situation, hence large greenskin tribes were crushed by Grom's WAH! And absorbed into his own. When he had dominated his orc neighbours, he travelled forth into the Darway lands and fought them as well. The Darway held Grom back, but they could not replenish their numbers like Grom could. Every day more and more goblins came to join Grom in his legend, stoking his ego to a point where his frame was so massive that he had to ride a chariot to get around. It's a pretty sturdy fucking chariot. If you couldn't tell, we just hit the 3-minute mark. During this time, the Empire had one of its many shit emperors, so mankind was no help at all. Hence the Darway retreated to their holds, allowing Grom and his WAH! direct access to the Empire. Grom brought the Empire to its knees. Maybe in the time of Karl Franz, Sigma or Magnus, he would get his ass kicked, but the current Emperor was absolutely useless and too scared to raise armies. Grom sacked whatever city he pleased. The only thing really saving the Empire was the fact that he enjoyed taking his time and lying in pies of gold. Also, he was a fat motherfucker and riding around a continent is tiring. After sacking Middenheim and using the roof of the White Wolf to upgrade his chariot, yes, that's right, he sacked the Empire's greatest city, no worries. Grom then got bored, and despite knowing he could probably easily shit on the rest of the Empire, he made his WAH! build a massive fleet of ships, which he then led to Marienburg. The Empire's navy did their best to hold off the greenskins, but there was just no chance of victory. Despite how shit the orc ships were, there was a lot of them. The weather, however, decided that Grom was too overpowered and blew his fleet out to sea, sinking most of his ships. The remaining ships still had a shitload of greenskins on them, mind you. They landed in a misty land. This was the east coast of Ulthuan, home of the High Elves, Tor Yivris. The greenskins ripped through the land, smashing the seriously surprised elves. Like, nobody other than Dark Elves have ever invaded Ulthuan. No one can make it to Ulthuan, so it was ridiculous that an army of goblins could. During their invasion, the greenskin shaman, called Blacktooth, made sure to tear up and destroy every waystone he found. These waystones were acting as mini conduits for the vortex to drain the winds of magic from the world, so each one they knocked down was actually a massive problem. Eventually the Goblin army made it to Tor Ivrys itself, and after mopping up another elven army, laid siege. Blacktooth knew that if they were able to take out one more waystone, the waystone within Tor Ivrys itself, then Ulthuan would sink and he would absorb so much power that he would become basically a god. The Greenskins flooded into the city and began razing it to the ground. Thousands of years of elven crafting was completely torn and shit on within hours. Blacktooth flew towards the final waystone in his wyvern. But then Eltharion, Warden of Tor Ivrys, arrived, and boy oh boy does that man hate immigrants, especially green ones that are trying to shit on his lands. With a single stroke, Eltharion decapitated Blacktooth, whilst his reinforcements smashed into the Goblin armies, massacring them like the Mortys they are. Eltharion and a team of mages went to the final waystone and tried to stop it from destroying Ulthuan. Only Eltharion survived the ordeal, giving him the name Eltharion the Grim, as all the joy and humour of life had left him. Grom decided that between the island potentially sinking, his shaman decapitated and his goblins getting wrecked, now would be a good time to head off. The elves exterminated the Greenskins and burnt the lands to make sure the spores could never grow, the event turning Tor Ivrys into a hardcore faction who became really independent from the rest of Ulthuan under the leadership of Eltharion. This was because the rest of the elves, didn't reinforce them in time. Eltharion would go on to lead a genocide of the Greenskins in the Badlands as vengeance for Grom's invasion. This actually turned out kind of funny, as the more Eltharion killed the Greenskins, the more that came to him as they got excited by the prospect of fighting such a powerful enemy. The genocide was so bad for the goblins that all of them gained an innate fear of elves. All of them except for Grom. Grom did escape Ulthuan, but was mercilessly hunted by Eltharion for years, until eventually Eltharion caught up to him. Now, Grom is a beast, and a mighty opponent for anyone, but this is Eltharion, a genuine creature in combat that could even give Tyrion a run for his money. Hence Eltharion was able to defeat Grom in a duel and capture him. He then horrifically tortured him, using Grom's regeneration to keep him alive, slowly chopping him up into little pieces and feeding his mangled alive body into a magic furnace which slowly incinerated him. So yeah, sorry for the Grom fans out there, but your boy fucking died. The torture was so horrific and barbaric, especially coming from an elf, that Eltharion kept it to himself, and he did not tell the other elves what had become of Grom. Hence rumours existed of his legend all the way until the end times. A few things that Seer adds however is that in upcoming DLC for Total War Warhammer 2, Grom gets Blacktooth's head as an item, as Blacktooth was so full of magic that decapitation was only a minor setback. I think this is a pretty cool nod to the shaman who literally nearly destroyed Ulthuan and by extension could have destroyed the entire world. I hope I've put this in perspective for you. Grom and his WAH! beat the Greenskins, the dwarves, the Empire, and we're so close to beating the elves. Like, this guy did what Nagash and the Chaos Gods couldn't do. One fat fucking goblin who ate some troll meat. Memes. It looks like Grom in Total War will start off just as he's beaten back from Tor Ivrys and is gathering himself back together. In Mortal Empires he starts in Bretonnia, and I believe in Vortex he starts in Ulthuan, so like I said, I have no access, could be wrong there. Maybe CA's version of his lore is actually canon, as Grom may have ended up in Bretonnia for a time before Eltharion tracked him down and made him his bitch. And that does us for today, guys. Not the longest video, but you know me, padding videos is for bold neckbeard cunts, which I won't be for the next 15 years or so. We've been growing amazingly and I really owe that to you guys. We just overtook another Warhammer YouTuber and we aren't going to stop till we're number 1. If you enjoyed this video and want to support the channel, then Patreon is the place to be. Only $1 gives you access to a boatload of custom Warhammer hentai, and yes, there is greenskin hentai, it's so delicious. I'll be streaming Warhammer 2 Total War at 9 PM London time, 4 PM Washington DC time tomorrow, playing as Eltharion. But Majorkill, you are blacklisted from CA, you can't play Eltharion. Shut the fuck up, Timmy, I can play whoever I want. Rules are for pussies. So yeah, come on down and have a laugh with me, the streams are always such good fun. Join the Discord for more memes, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Bow to me. I swarming!